Okay, so today we are talking about words. Yesterday we talked about sounds, consonants, and vowels, and today we're going to talk about what happens when you put them together. So when you think about language and what makes up a sentence, you think about words often. Languages, both signed and spoken, are made up with words strung together. In some languages, the words are very long and complex. Can be a whole sentence, can be a single word. In English, you need several words to make up a sentence. But regardless, in all languages, you do have words. But what is a word, and how do you recognize a word when you hear it? Well, there are two kinds of words. This little poem here, "'Twas the night before Christmas and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse." The blue words, this is one kind of word. "'Twas the, before, and all through the." These words, it's not that they don't mean anything. It's hard to define sometimes, and they certainly have a purpose in the sentence, but the words night, Christmas, and house do carry most of the actual content of the sentence. It's really easy to say what night means, what Christmas means, what house means. So this is the distinction between content words, the green words, and function words. So content words are these green ones, and function words are the blue ones. Content words are nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, and interjections. Interjections are words like yes, no, hello, things like this. And function words are everything else. So determiners, these are words that modify nouns: the cat, a cat, some cats, few cats, many cats, every cat. Prepositions, pronouns, and auxiliary verbs and modals, which both modify verbs. Is running, has run, does run, could run, may run, might run. So content words, this is a cute little example of a sentence composed only of content words. Buffalo, 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 buffalo. And you can see that when you don't have any of those function words in that sentence, it's really, you probably have no clue what I'm saying, and you think I'm just saying buffalo a bunch of times. Well, it turns out this sentence means buffalo that are from Buffalo, New York, confuse buffalo that are also from Buffalo, New York. Buffalo can be used as a verb to mean confuse. So buffalo, buffalo, confuse, buffalo, buffalo. So buffalo from New York, buffalo, buffalo from New York. I hope you get that. So buffalo here is being used in three ways. It's being used as a place adjective. Places can also be nouns, but in this case it's modifying the kind of buffalo. It's like Tucson buffalo, but this is buffalo buffalo. It's also being used as a noun to signify the animal, and also as a verb meaning to confuse. So buffalo, 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 buffalo. So this example shows us that you can't tell just by looking at the word what kind of word it is. This is one of the problems with content words. So that's kind of an example that we're not going to hear in our daily life unless you are a linguist, in which case you will spend a lot of time thinking about sentences like this. But in your life, I'm sure that you say all the time, "I'm going to text my friend." There you're using text as a verb. She just got my text. Now you're using text as a noun. So how do you know when you're speaking, when you're saying this, or when someone says this to you, how do you know whether they mean text as in the the thing that you get on your phone, or text as in pushing in the buttons with your phone, with your thumb? Sorry, I just got a text message, ironically. So it turns out that you have to look at the function words. So text is a content word, and the function words that are sort of supporting it to text and my text, this can give you a clue as to what's going on, what part of speech it is. So to text, it's a verb, and my text signifies that it's a noun. So therefore, we define our word classes, which are also known as grammatical categories, things like nouns, verbs, adjectives, etc., by their distribution, so where they occur in the sentence. Alright, so what makes something a word? Well, we have a couple words here: supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, It's a nice long word. And we have the word so, which is a very much more common word. What do they mean? Well, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, I'm not really sure. It probably means something kind of like great. And also the word so. What does that mean? Sometimes it means very, but when I say so-so, it means kind of mediocre. And if I say so yesterday, I mean, what does it mean in that context? It's kind of hard to tell. So it's not necessarily the definition that makes it a word, but content words do have a definition. These are also known as the lexical words. The lexicon is kind of your mental dictionary of words. This is where you store all of the words in your mind. It's called the lexicon. So content words or lexical words, they have a definition. It might be hard to figure out what it is. What does supercalifragilisticexpialidocious mean? But there is some sort of meaning there. We do also know that that word is an adjective of some sort because of it ends in "-shus. Function words, on the other hand, we don't really need to define them based on their definition. They can be sort of characterized based on their usage, so where we use them in the sentence. Yeah. So in English, we look at this word GPTS, and we know that this is not a word. There are some, besides just the definitional or functional aspects of words, this shows us that there are also some sound things required. There's some phonological requirements. So yes, this is not a word because words have to be made up of well-formed syllables, and this has no vowels, so the sounds of this are not quite right. Phonology refers to the sounds of the language, the study of the sounds of the language. This word ngas, this is getting a little closer. It's a syllable, but it's not phonotactically acceptable. So phonotactics those are sort of the rules of which sounds you can put next to each other in a given language. And in English, we don't allow the sound at the beginning of a word. We only allow it at the end of a syllable or at the end of a word. So we can say song, but we can't say ngas. The word bnak. This is a kind of classic example because in some languages like Scots Gaelic you can start words with BN, but in English we can't. This is not a valid English word because we don't allow B and N in the onset of a syllable in English. So note, I want you to know that this is not bad because it's hard to pronounce. As I said, they have it in other languages. It's just bad because it doesn't comply with our grammar. Remember when we were talking the first day of class about grammar, that thing in your brain that tells you what's right and what's wrong in language, not what your English teacher says, but what's in your brain that actually controls what you say. It's bad because of our grammar. In English, you just can't start a word with BN. Alright, so just summing up, to be a word you have to either be a content word or a function word. And you have to mean something if you're a content word, and if you're a function word, you have to do something in the sentence. And then as that last slide showed us, you also have to obey the phonological rules. So you have to be a well-formed syllable, you have to be phonotactically valid, and all of these other sort of sound-related rules of the language. Alright, so join me in a few minutes for the next lecture on how to build words.